Hello guys, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be elaborating a little bit more on our homeschool routine. A little over 6 months ago, I posted a video where I go through kind of how I try to incorporate education and educational play into my routine with my daughter. At the time, she was about 18 months old. Now she's over 2 years old, which is absolutely crazy to me. Yeah, obviously, as she's growing and learning, we want to continue to grow her homeschool routine, to challenge her, and just as I learn more things, I'm just kind of always adapting. I have some stuff planned that I really want to incorporate this year into her homeschool routine. Some of it we've already started doing. Other things we definitely won't incorporate until later in the year, closer to when she's 3, or just not a specific age, just, when she starts showing that she's able to do that. And I'll kind of explain a little bit more of that later. But if you're curious of what our routine looks like, I won't be showing that in this video. I do have a video showing that, which I'll go ahead and link. Yeah, we're basically doing the exact same thing. I will say, just a little background on me. I am not a qualified teacher whatsoever. I do not have a degree in early childhood education. My degree is in health and rehabilitation psychology, which was our pre-occupational therapy track at my school. I did not go to grad school. I had my baby right out of college, but I have learned so much because, just from my daughter, all the appointments that we're in, all the therapies that she goes to, a lot of them are educational. And so we definitely learn a lot from that. But also for over a year, I've been working as a behavior therapist. I work with autistic children, and basically a behavior therapist supplements everything the child is doing in their life. So if they go to PT, or if they're not going to PT, we supplement, we target areas in PT, OT, speech, and academic as well, behavioral, functional, life skills, things like that. So the types of things I do throughout the day that I've done for over a year, I have taught kids how, I've potty trained kids. I have taught kids how to eat. I've helped work on food preferences. I've taught kids how to talk who were completely nonverbal, even at 4 or 5 years old. We teach them just colors, numbers, letters, identifying those things. Some of the kids who are a little bit older, we definitely get into more academic stuff, definitely things that they're learning in school, who community workers are, where they work, which is kind of a social studies topic at a young level. I've gone over math with kids, reading with kids, literally. It's just to supplement any area of their life where they have deficits. Recently, I got a new job doing the same thing, behavior therapy, but it's in a school setting, a specialized school for kids with autism. And there's 5 of us teachers in there. One of them is a licensed teacher. She has her education, certification and all of that. The rest of us are behavior therapists. And so we're working with these autistic kids. And because there's 5 of us in the room, they do actually have us teach. So I am a 2nd grade social studies teacher, social studies and handwriting. And it has really opened my eyes just to the different resources teachers use, what education standards look like, and what I should be aiming towards. So I've definitely been learning a lot for the past year. Again, I'm in no way qualified as an educator. I'm not sharing this stuff with you guys to tell you this is how you have to do it. This is just what we're doing with my 2-year-old daughter, who's technically not even school age yet. I did want to quickly address, if you saw my last video, you know that I talked a little bit about Rosie going to school in the fall and how we definitely wanted to work on her sitting and learning in a more structured format, because she was going to go to a school, an intervention school for kids with different, disabilities and stuff like that. We were assured she would get a spot, and unfortunately she did not. We were assured it would only be a few weeks and a spot would open up for her. Unfortunately, it did not, and here we are in January, and she still does not have a spot at that school, which is very disappointing, but has definitely lit a fire under me to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to make sure she gets the education that she needs and that her developmental needs are being met. So that's kind of where we are right now. Just to give you a little bit of insight into where she's at, she knows probably about 50 sign language words, has over 20 verbal words, and she is like right on the cusp of walking. I mean, she is like a full-blown toddler at this point. We're working on feeding skills. She can drink out of a sippy cup by herself. She is like so close to like feeding herself with utensils. Like, she's doing great. She's doing amazing. I say that because, you know, a child with Down syndrome who's 2, like, you would typically expect to be like a typical 1-year-old, like 12 to 18 months in that range. And I would definitely say she's closer to 18 to 24 month range on like a typical scale of development. So that's like where we're at if you're trying to gauge like what we're trying to teach her at that level. If your kid is in a similar developmental place, maybe these are good things for you. Or if they're ahead of that or behind that, I mean, you can totally do whatever works for you guys. I will say one thing I learned as a behavior therapist is expose kids to things. Like, if you want a kid to learn something, you need to expose it to them early and often. So we did get a Yoto player for Christmas. Rosie got a Yoto player. I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what it is. It's like just like a screenless player, basically like a radio, and you buy cards for it. So this one is a sound effect card, and it's a crackling fire. This came with it. And when you turn it on, it just plays crackling fire sounds. We really are liking this one right now, my first 100 words. And it shows you in 5 different languages: English, French, Italian, Spanish, and one more that I don't quite recognize, but we play this for her often. So again, that expose her to it early and often. So this is one thing that we are trying to do to expose her to different words, to different languages. And this just plays in the background while she is just like playing and doing stuff like that. Another one we're really loving is, it came with a Robin Hood card as well. And I have looked into like what other classic stories they have. I would love to get The Secret Garden, and I think they also have like Anne of Green Gables or something like that. So I would like to get a few more just stories like that, because I feel like that definitely can aid her development. Just like the words she learns and stuff like that, learning like speech patterns and whatnot. So that has definitely been an asset for us. A couple things we've already incorporated. We have these number cards, which I think you can get for like, let me see, you can buy them. They were in the dollar spot at Target at the beginning of the year for $1. I actually got them at Once Upon a Child for 50 cents. So you can get cards like this pretty cheap. And we do a number of the week when we do homeschool. So we use these cards for that, but it just has the number, how it's spelled, and then on the back side it has dots to practice counting. So these definitely are great. They grow with your child. Flashcards are amazing. I definitely recommend flashcards. And then we have these letter flashcards, which are also amazing. So on the one side, they just say the letter. And then on the other side, they say the letter, a word, and have a picture. So at school, we have their big flashcards, but they basically have the same information. And we have the kids go up to the front and they say, A, apple, ah. So they say the letter, the word corresponding to it on that particular flashcard, and then the sound that the letter makes in the word. So A, apple, ah. For B, they would say B, boat, b. C, cat, k. Like that. And we have them go through a lot of letters, not just single letters, but also sounds. Like, so we do like CH, chin, ch, things like that. So again, that's just like a skill that I've picked up actually being in a classroom setting, and she got these cards for Christmas. So that's how I intend to use these with her this year. And this is great. This is something that could easily just be like done in the car, or just, you know, like at a restaurant, like wherever you are, like this is something that could totally travel, which is obviously the great thing about homeschool is that you don't have to be in a structured setting. It doesn't always have to be at home. You can do homeschool wherever. So I know I watch Sarah Therese when she was posting YouTube videos, and I still follow her on Instagram. And I know she does like recitation with her kids. And I think it's like spitting off like a lot of facts and things. Like, so she does it, I think, in like all areas. Like she'll say what's 1 + 2, and you know, they'll do the math facts, but then also just like, you know, name all the provinces in Canada or whatever. So that's something that I definitely want to incorporate, and I think this is a good place to start. So, you know, just saying like, if, you know, you could start by saying A, apple, and then they respond or even you could start saying A, apple, and then they repeat. That's what we do at school. Eventually we could probably work up to just saying like A, apple, and then they would say the sound, or, you know, however your child needs to build it. Some of them may pick it up like that and don't need all the intermediate steps, but yeah, I feel like this will be good. That was a little bit of a tangent. So, but I just like, I think so far ahead, and I think like as a homeschool mom, you definitely have to like be thinking ahead all the time. So yeah, that's that. That's just like a little glimpse into my crazy, chaotic mind. Something else I picked up from a fellow woman, mother here on YouTube, is that she, from a very young age, made flashcards for her daughter with mama and then her daughter's name and dada. And her daughter started to recognize the words so quickly, and she would just like go through and say like dada, Rosie, mama, and then like eventually she was able to just show her the flashcard, and the girl could like say the words. You know, like she just memorized them, kind of like sight words basically, which is a huge part of school. So we've been doing that with Rosie, especially now that she has consistent, she's had consistent sign language for mama, dada, and Rosie for a really long time, but now she regularly says mama, dada, and ro, which is amazing. And so these flashcards have really been big. She kind of knows how to spell her name. My sister taught her to the like tune of Bingo. Like she would sing, "There is a girl I love so much, and Rosie is her name, Rosie." And so she would like sing the letters and do the sign language at the same time. And Rosie has like a puzzle that spells her name, and like she knows, she'll go like RS, like she's trying to spell her name. And I'm just like, kids are sponges. Like they absorb so much. Even if your kid has a diagnosis, even if your kid is typical, your kid is absorbing so much. So just err on the side of teaching them things. Like at school, definitely one thing that we live by is assume competence. Assume your child is benefiting from what you're doing. Like assume if you're if you're explaining something to your child, they understand. Like if you're teaching them numbers and letters, like they are picking up on so much more than we realize. And even if they're not like able to spout it back to us right away, later on down the line when they see it again, like they'll pick it up so much easier. So I just promise you, even if it sounds crazy that I'm teaching my daughter who's 2 how to read, I promise you it's way more beneficial than not doing anything. So that is definitely the advice I'd leave you with. So I have a couple more things I want to show you that we are incorporating into homeschool this year. These, oh gosh, these PEX boards have seen better days, but her speech therapist gave us these for some songs that she really likes. She doesn't use them a ton because she has sign language words for these things for the most part, or like the animals, she just knows the sounds they make, so she just makes the sounds instead of touching. So these themselves haven't been like ridiculously effective, but just the idea of these, we definitely want to like make a visual schedule board, like some options. So like have multiple pictures, and you know, maybe have one for the morning with like breakfast choices, or you know, just like, yeah, things that she doesn't really have words for yet, and see how that goes. So I'm hoping to kind of make some PEX boards like that. If your child is verbally delayed, or if they just aren't speaking yet because they're really young, this is definitely something you can incorporate, just like having pictures with just like the obvious like icon of what it is and then the word underneath, and that may really help you. So that's that. And then the last thing is something that we definitely are going to incorporate later on. So I made a bunch of file folders. They're not actually file folders because they're just on single pieces of paper, but the concept is the same. So all of these I found on Teachers Pay Teachers and were free. So I think anyone can make a Teachers Pay Teachers account and get to these same exact things. But basically, so like this one has pictures of turkeys, and then I have little icons, oops, with turkeys on them that like the child is supposed to match. So you would match this icon to this icon, and the Velcro like keeps it on. And I remember I had a teacher when I would go to Bible class that would do this when I was in 1st and 2nd grade, and I loved file folders. We use them all the time for behavior therapy, like one-on-one. We use them all the time at school. They are incredibly beneficial and can be adapted to multiple skill sets. So like this one particularly is identical matching, but they're all turkeys. So you have to look at the details of them. So there's ones that are definitely going to be a lot more simplistic. Like we have ones that are like a bunch of words, like CVC words. So it says like pop, hot, you know, whatever, where the letter is always O, and then there's just like a bunch of O stickers. So then they just have to put O's on all the words. Like that's like an errorless one. So can definitely be made super easy, or it can be made really hard where you have to like read a word. So like this one is an identical matching of letters. It has little dinosaurs. And then this one is also identical matching of letters, but I think we have lowercase letters and uppercase letters, so you can like adjust it that way. Then we also have the same letters but in different fonts. So to kind of like generalize, like an O, I mean, an O basically always looks like that, but like a W may not always look like that. It may be like kind of like rounded at the bottom, and get that generalization. So we have all of those. We have ones with colors, and so we have like big crayons that go on them. So I have tons of these, and I've actually been developing some of my own for quite a while, because obviously on Teachers Pay Teachers, there's really no like religious material. So I really want to make my own file folders that are not even just like about Bible stuff in general, but just biblically based. So like I had what I have, like I just like had like the fruits of the spirit, and I had them sort like fruits into one category and then like vegetables in another category, but like just tying it into like fruit of the spirit. And then I think like I had a harder version where it was like, I don't know, where it's like had the fruit of the spirit on the actual fruit, and like I don't know. And then I have like I had like Noah's Ark matching. So I had male versions of animals and female versions of animals, and I had those be matched together. So they're still in the works a little bit. It's definitely like hard to develop material like that. So, and I have like a lot. I have like probably 10 that I'm working on. So I'm really excited to make those, and hopefully even be able to like share them for you guys, so I can like make it in a Google Doc, I think, and share it on, eventually I'll be able to like share it on a video, and then you guys should be able to just like print it off hopefully. And you might have to do like some cutting and laminating and stuff yourself, but yeah, so that is basically it. That's what we've been working on. Those are some projects I'm really excited to share with you guys. And yeah, that's what we're incorporating into our homeschool routine this year. Hopefully I will film an updated routine where you can like watch us go through it later in the year. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.